He found Widow asleep on his porch with 2 kids. The cowboy said, "If they snore, I'll build a room." The twin moons were already rising when Cole returned home. Dust followed his boots as he walked toward the small ranch house sitting alone on the wide plains. The wind moved slowly across the grass, carrying the smell of metal and dry earth. This planet was quiet, and that was why he stayed here. No crowds, no noise, no memories chasing him too loudly. Cole was a cowboy by habit more than title. Years ago, he had left busy settlements behind and built a simple life near the frontier town of Red Hollow. His ranch was small but enough for one man. A few animals, a repair shed, and an old solar fence kept things running. He liked it that way. Silence meant control. As he stepped closer to the porch, something felt different. His hand moved automatically toward the tool belt at his side. The ranch lights were on, but shadows moved where there should be none. He slowed. There were shapes on the porch, 3 of them. Cole stopped 10 steps away and watched carefully. A woman sat against the wooden wall, her head lowered, asleep. 2 small children were curled beside her, wrapped in thin blankets that had seen too many cold nights. Their clothes were dusty, worn by travel. For a moment, Cole simply stared. Strangers didn't come this far unless they were lost or desperate. He cleared his throat lightly. No one moved. One of the children shifted, letting out a soft snore. It was small and harmless, almost funny in the quiet evening. Cole shook his head slowly and muttered to himself, "If they snore, I'll have to build a room." He meant it as a joke, something to break his own tension. The woman's eyes opened suddenly. She looked at him with caution, ready to protect her children even before fully waking. Her hand rested gently on the shoulder of the nearest child. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "We didn't mean to trespass. We just needed somewhere safe for the night." Her voice carried exhaustion deeper than simple tiredness. Cole hesitated. He had learned long ago not to invite trouble. The frontier was full of people running from something, but he also saw the children. One held a small metal toy shaped like a starship, clutched tightly even in sleep. He exhaled slowly. "You hungry?" he asked. The woman nodded once. Cole opened the door and stepped aside. "Come in just for tonight." Inside, the ranch house was simple. Wooden walls mixed with old tech panels. A cooking unit hummed quietly in the corner. The children woke as warmth filled the room. They watched him carefully but didn't seem afraid. That surprised him. Mara introduced herself after they sat at the table. She spoke carefully, as if unsure how much to share. She and her children had traveled far from a mining colony beyond the hills. The colony shut down suddenly, forcing many families to leave. She didn't mention details about her husband, only that he was gone. Cole didn't ask questions, not yet. He placed bowls of hot stew in front of them. The children ate slowly at first, then faster when they realized no one would stop them. Watching them stirred something uncomfortable in his chest. Memories. He pushed them away. After dinner, he brought out extra blankets and showed them the small guest room, mostly used for storage. The children fell asleep quickly, their breathing steady. Mara stayed awake, sitting at the table. "You don't know us," she said quietly. "You didn't have to help." Cole shrugged. "It's cold outside." She studied him, as if trying to understand why a stranger would offer kindness without expecting anything. Outside, wind rattled the porch rails. Cole stepped out briefly to check the perimeter lights. His eyes scanned the horizon automatically. The frontier had taught him to trust instincts more than technology. Something blinked in the sky. A faint red light, barely visible. A drone. It hovered far away, watching silently before disappearing behind clouds. Cole's jaw tightened. Maybe they weren't as alone as he thought. When he returned inside, he said nothing about it. No reason to worry them yet. Morning arrived quietly. Sunlight filtered through dusty windows. The children explored the ranch with curious excitement, chasing small mechanical birds that cleaned the fields. Their laughter echoed across the yard. Cole found himself smiling without realizing it. Mara offered to help with repairs. She moved confidently around machines, adjusting circuits with skill. He raised an eyebrow. "You said you were from a mining colony." "I was an engineer before that," she admitted. That explained a lot. Throughout the day, they worked together. It felt strange having someone nearby, someone who understood tools and silence. By afternoon, the ranch felt less empty, but trouble followed. Tracks appeared near the outer fence, vehicle marks that weren't there yesterday. Cole crouched beside them, studying the pattern. Not local, heavy transport tires. Someone had come close during the night. When he looked toward the sky again, he felt watched. Back at the house, one of the children laughed loudly, showing him a drawing of the ranch with 3 moons instead of 2. He chuckled softly. "Artist," he said. For a moment the world felt normal, even peaceful. As evening approached, he started building something beside the house, wooden beams, metal supports. Mara watched from the porch. "You don't have to," she said gently. He shrugged again. "They snore," he replied, almost smiling. The children cheered when they realized he was building them a new room. But as the sun disappeared behind the hills, far away, a silent drone transmitted images of the ranch to unseen observers. And somewhere beyond the clouds, someone decided that Cole's quiet life had just become very interesting. The ranch did not feel empty anymore. For years, Cole had moved through the days like a machine: wake up, work, eat, sleep. Silence had been his shield. But now small sounds filled the air: children laughing near the fence, tools clinking as Mara repaired broken equipment. Even the wind seemed warmer. Cole tried not to think too much about it. Change was dangerous. Still, he found himself waking earlier than usual, checking the new room he had started building beside the house. The wooden frame was already standing strong. One of the children had drawn stars on the wall panels with chalk, turning it into something more than just a shelter. "You're making it too big," Mara said from behind him one morning. He shrugged. "Kids grow." She smiled faintly but said nothing more. They worked together that day, repairing the solar arrays. Mara moved with confidence, adjusting circuits with steady hands. Cole watched quietly, impressed. "You weren't just a small engineer," he said finally. "No," she replied. "I worked on energy systems for colony defenses." Cole paused. Defense systems were serious work, not something ordinary settlers handled. "You didn't say that before." She kept her eyes on the panel. "Some things are easier not to explain." He nodded slowly, respecting her silence, but his instincts remained restless. Later that afternoon, he rode along the outer fence to check for damage. The tire tracks from yesterday were still there, clear in the dust. They led close to the ranch before turning away. Someone had watched them. He scanned the horizon again, searching for movement. Nothing, only endless plains stretching under the bright sky. Yet the feeling of being observed did not leave him. When he returned home, the children ran toward him, excited. They had found an old metal hatch half buried near the barn while playing. Cole followed them. The hatch sat in the ground, covered by layers of dirt and grass. He frowned. He had lived here for years and never noticed it before. Mara froze when she saw it. Her expression changed instantly. "You knew about this?" he asked. She hesitated. "No, but I heard stories." "What kind of stories?" She knelt beside the hatch, brushing away dust with careful hands. Strange markings appeared, symbols older than the settlement itself. "Frontier legends," she said quietly. "Some people believed ancient settlers built hidden systems to protect their land from invaders." Cole crossed his arms. "Sounds like stories to keep kids busy." "Maybe," she said, "but my husband believed they were real." That caught his attention. "You said he disappeared," she nodded slowly. "He was searching for something before he vanished." "Something buried under frontier worlds." Cole looked again at the hatch. A cold feeling moved through him. The ranch had always felt different. Strange energy readings sometimes appeared on his sensors, but he had ignored them. Now he wondered if he had been living above something important without knowing. Before he could respond, a loud hum echoed in the sky. Both of them looked up. A small ship passed far overhead, moving slowly as if scanning the land. Cole's jaw tightened. "That's not local traffic," he said. Mara's face paled. "They found us." The children watched silently, sensing the sudden tension. "Inside," Cole said calmly. "All of you." They returned to the house quickly. Cole checked the security screens, watching the ship disappear beyond the hills. "Who are they?" he asked. Mara took a deep breath. "Corporate recovery agents. They took control of the mining colony after the shutdown. Anyone who resisted was forced out." "And you resisted?" "Yes," he nodded slowly. Helping her meant inviting trouble, but sending her away now felt wrong. That evening, as the sun lowered, Cole worked faster on the new room. Hammer strikes echoed across the yard. The children sat nearby, watching him with admiration. "Why are you helping us?" one asked suddenly. Cole paused. He wasn't sure how to answer. "Because someone should," he said finally. Night fell quietly. Stars filled the sky like scattered lights. After everyone slept, Cole stepped outside again, scanning the horizon. The wind carried a low vibration from beneath the ground. He turned slowly toward the hatch. It was glowing faintly. Blue light leaked through the edges. Cole approached cautiously. The ground trembled gently as if something ancient had awakened after a long sleep. He heard footsteps behind him. Mara stood nearby, eyes wide. "It's activating," she whispered. Without warning, the hatch shifted. Dust fell away as hidden mechanisms moved silently. Lines of light spread across the surface like veins. Cole felt both excitement and danger rising together. "Step back," he said. The hatch slid open slowly, revealing a dark stairway leading underground. Cold air rushed upward, carrying the scent of metal and age. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Below them waited answers and possibly trouble far greater than they expected. Behind the hills, unseen observers received another signal. Coordinates confirmed. Target located. Back on the ranch, Cole stared into the darkness below. His quiet life had already changed. And he knew there was no turning back now. The cold air rising from the open hatch felt different from anything Cole had experienced before. It carried a faint metallic smell, mixed with something older like forgotten history waking after a long sleep. Cole stood at the edge, looking down into the darkness. Blue lights slowly appeared along the walls of the stairway, turning on one by one as if sensing their presence. Myra stood beside him, holding her breath. "It's real," she whispered. Cole nodded slowly but did not move yet. Years on the frontier had taught him patience. Unknown places meant unknown danger. Behind them, the children watched with wide eyes from the porch. "Inside," Cole said gently. "Stay close to the house." They nodded and disappeared inside, though curiosity made them peek through the window. Cole grabbed a portable lantern and stepped onto the first stair. The metal felt warm under his boots. Myra followed quietly behind him. As they descended, the lights grew brighter, revealing smooth walls covered in strange symbols. Some looked like old frontier markings, but others were advanced, too advanced for anything built by modern settlers. The stairway opened into a large underground chamber. Cole stopped. The room stretched far into the distance, filled with silent machines. Tall pillars glowed softly, connected by lines of energy flowing like rivers of light. Screens activated automatically as they entered, displaying unknown symbols that slowly translated into basic language. "Welcome," a calm voice said. Both of them froze. The voice did not sound human, yet it felt warm and steady. "This defense network recognizes cooperative presence." Mara's eyes widened. "It's artificial intelligence," she whispered. Cole crossed his arms. "We're not here to break anything." The system paused, as if listening carefully. "Protection protocol awaiting activation," the voice continued. "Primary objective, defend frontier settlers from exploitation and invasion." Cole and Mara exchanged a look. This was not a weapon built for conquest. It was designed to protect. Mara stepped closer to one of the glowing panels. "My husband, he believed there were systems like this hidden across frontier worlds," she said softly. "He thought they were created by early settlers who refused to be controlled." Cole watched quietly. "Why here?" he asked. "Maybe because this land was once important," she replied. A soft beep interrupted them. One of the screens showed images from outside, the ranch, the fields, and far beyond, small moving vehicles approaching slowly. Cole's expression hardened. "They're coming." "Corporate recovery agents," the system's voice spoke again. "Threat probability increasing, authorization required." Cole frowned. "Authorization from who?" "Authorization from Protector." Silence filled the chamber. The lights shifted toward him. Myra looked surprised. "It's responding to you." Cole shook his head. "I didn't do anything." "You helped strangers," the voice said calmly. "Protective behavior detected, compatibility high." Cole felt uncomfortable being judged by a machine. "I'm just a rancher," he said. "Role acknowledged, Protector." Before he could argue further, footsteps echoed behind them. The children had followed. "We told you to stay upstairs," Cole said, trying not to sound angry. "We were worried," one child replied. As they stepped into the room, one of them touched a glowing panel curiously. Instantly, holographic images appeared around them, scenes of old settlers building homes, defending communities, and helping each other survive harsh worlds. The children laughed in amazement. The system's voice softened. "Community presence detected, activation conditions increasing." Mara turned toward Cole. "It's not responding to power or commands," she realized. "It responds to cooperation." Cole looked around slowly. The system felt alive in a strange way, watching them not as strangers but as a family. Above ground, engines roared faintly. The agents were getting closer. They returned to the surface quickly. From the porch, Cole saw dust rising on the horizon, vehicles approaching the ranch. Sleek ships hovered in the sky, scanning the area. Mara's face filled with worry. "This is my fault," she said. "They followed me." Cole shook his head. "They came for the land," he said calmly. "You just helped them find it." He looked at the children, then back at the approaching vehicles. Something inside him settled. The same feeling he used to have long ago when protecting people mattered more than staying alone. "We don't run," he said quietly. Mara watched him carefully. "Are you sure?" He nodded once. They prepared quickly. Using tools from the underground facility, Cole activated defensive barriers around the ranch, not weapons, shields, fields of energy that shimmered softly around the property. The children helped by carrying small devices, excited but nervous. Ships landed beyond the fence. Figures stepped out, dressed in dark uniforms. A voice echoed through a loudspeaker. "This property is now under corporate control. Step forward peacefully." Cole walked to the edge of the yard. He stood tall, calm, unmoving. "This is private land," he said. The agents moved closer. Behind him, the ancient system hummed quietly, ready but waiting. Myra stood beside him, no longer hiding. Fear remained, but something stronger grew alongside it, trust. As the agents reached the fence, the ground beneath them began to glow faintly. The ancient system had recognized the threat. And for the first time since Cole chose a life of solitude, he realized he was no longer alone in protecting this place. The final confrontation was coming. The wind grew stronger as the corporate agents stopped near the ranch fence. Dust moved around their boots while their ships hovered silently behind them. The glow from the ancient system spread slowly across the ground like quiet lightning, forming a protective barrier around Cole's land. Cole stood still, hands relaxed at his sides. He was not holding a weapon. He did not need one. Myra stood beside him, her shoulders tense but steady. The children watched from the porch, close together, trusting him completely. A tall agent stepped forward. "This property is under corporate authority," the agent said through a helmet speaker. "You are interfering with protected assets. Step away and surrender control." Cole did not move. "This is my ranch," he said calmly. "You're not welcome here." The agent paused, surprised by the simple answer. "You cannot resist," the voice continued. "We detected advanced technology beneath your land. It belongs to us." Cole almost smiled. "That's where you're wrong." Behind him, the ground hummed softly. The ancient defense system was awake now, responding to every movement, every word. The agents moved closer. The moment one crossed the invisible boundary, a wave of light appeared, not violent, just firm. The agent stopped instantly, unable to step forward. Mara watched with wonder. "It's protecting us," she whispered. The agent signaled toward the ships. Small drones moved forward, scanning the area. Their lights flickered as they tried to analyze the barrier. The ancient system spoke quietly through hidden speakers. "Threat detected, non-lethal response active." Cole felt a strange calm. He wasn't alone anymore. The system trusted him, and he trusted it. The agents tried again, sending a larger machine toward the fence. The machine fired a scanning beam, but the barrier absorbed it effortlessly, turning the energy into harmless light. Frustration grew among the agents. "This technology must be secured," the leader said sharply. "Prepare extraction protocol." The ships lowered slightly, engines roaring louder. Mara's fear returned. "They won't stop," she said. Cole looked at her gently. "Then we show them they don't have to fight." He stepped forward again, closer to the barrier. "I'm not your enemy," he called toward the agents. "And this system isn't a weapon," the leader hesitated. "You expect us to believe that?" "Yes," Cole replied, "because if it wanted to hurt you, it already would have." As if responding to his words, the barrier shifted, revealing calm waves of light instead of aggressive force. The system's voice spoke again. "Conflict avoidance priority, protection through balance." The agents exchanged uncertain looks. They had expected resistance, maybe violence, not calm refusal. Mara stepped forward beside Cole. "This system protects settlers," she said clearly. "It exists to stop people from being pushed out of their homes." Silence followed. For a long moment, no one moved. Finally, the agent leader lowered his weapon slightly. "You cannot keep this hidden forever," he said. Cole nodded. "I'm not hiding it," he answered. "But it doesn't belong to corporations. It belongs to people who protect each other." The system responded instantly. "Statement confirmed. Protector alignment validated." The barrier expanded gently, pushing the agents back without harm. Their equipment shut down one by one, disabled by invisible signals. No explosions, no injuries, just quiet power. The leader realized they could not win without causing unnecessary damage, and perhaps not even then. After a long pause, he gave a signal. The agents retreated slowly toward their ships. "This isn't over," he said before leaving. Cole watched as the ships lifted into the sky and disappeared beyond the clouds. Only after they vanished did he allow himself to relax. The children ran toward him, laughing with relief. "You scared them away," one said. Cole shook his head gently. "No," he replied, "we just showed them they didn't need to fight." Mara looked at him with new understanding. "You didn't use force," she said softly. He shrugged. "Frontier rules. You protect what matters without becoming what you hate." Days passed quietly after that. The ancient system settled into a peaceful state, helping maintain the ranch. Energy flowed smoothly, repairing old equipment automatically. The underground chamber became a place of learning instead of fear. The children explored safely, guided by soft lights and friendly holograms showing stories of past settlers. Cole finished building the new room beside the house. It was bigger than necessary, strong walls, wide windows, and space for laughter. When the children saw it completed, their eyes shone with excitement. "You really built it," Mara said. He nodded. "They snore." She laughed softly for the first time since arriving. Life on the ranch changed completely. Travelers began visiting, hearing stories of a safe place where people helped each other. The lonely ranch slowly turned into a small community. Cole found himself talking more, smiling more. The silence that once protected him no longer felt necessary. One evening, under the twin moons, he sat on the porch watching the children play in the yard. Mara joined him, holding 2 cups of warm tea. "You could have stayed alone," she said, "but you chose this." Cole watched the stars quietly. "Maybe I wasn't meant to stay alone forever," he answered. The wind moved gently across the plains, carrying laughter instead of emptiness. The ranch was no longer just a place to survive. It was a home. And for the first time in many years, Cole felt that the frontier was not something to face alone, but something to build together. Under the glowing moons, the ancient system hummed softly, protecting not just land, but the growing family who had chosen to stand beside each other. The future waited, wide, unknown, and full of hope.